I'm going to call the meeting to order. The general business meeting to order. If you all will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first order of business is accepting the minutes. We have the October 27 workshop minutes and the November 13th special workshop minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review?
Yes.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Amy. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Tony. Any further comments or edits, requests? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great, thank you. Next item is accepting the agenda, and before we do that, I would like to request that we move the executive session to after the Library Board of Trustee nomination, because we have matters leading to employment with action following. So with your approval as a board, I am proposing that we move the executive session to basically the second item on the general business after the first item on general business.
Karen,
Yes.
can we also table the menorah lighting event permit?
Yep.
It's not ready.
Well, we'll add that to.
Workshop.
Yep, we'll add that to the workshop. I guess I'll make a motion to do those two things. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. And then with that, I'll ask for a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So the next item on the agenda is public comment. So if anyone would like to make public comment, if you would just, Panda, do you need him to stand somewhere in particular for public comment? No? Okay, if you just stand up, say your name and say the area where you live, i.e. you live in the village.
Okay, I'm David Sokol, village resident, live on the edge of what we now know as Cookingham West. Do I remain
Go
seated?
for it.
Okay, mind if I sit or?
You can sit down,
Thank you.
yes.
Okay. Not all members of the board were here the last time I was here, but the last time I was here, we were talking about the Gateway North zoning amendment, and I spent some time on the record describing for everyone the urban planning concepts of transect and reverse transect. And just to quickly recap, I'll just focus on the reverse transect. A reverse transect is effectively a threshold to a downtown area. It is a slightly denser edge condition in which people know that they've moved from rural to not rural. As we've been discussing the zoning amendment and as we get closer to the public comment meeting on December 8th, studied the...
Just to
yes.
clarify, we haven't formally set that yet.
Oh, sorry.
That is my expectation.
Rumored in the newsletter.
There you go.
Okay. Studying the draft language and doing some rough visualizations, and I would just like to throw this out to the board for consideration, which is the extension of the Gateway North to include the west side of Route 9. As we know, the zoning amendment is, for lack of a better word right now, to sort of lubricate the Cookingham East development, and when that comes to fruition, we'll have neither a transect nor a reverse transect. We will have density on one side, of Route 9, but the threshold will not be complete. So just from a purely urban planning perspective, a purist urban planning perspective, I would wonder if the board might consider adapting the zoning amendment to include the west side of Route 9 so that this doesn't necessarily make densification on that side of Route 9 an inevitability, but it makes it possible. And so that the Gateway North will actually feel like a gateway. That when you both enter and leave the village, northbound or south, you know that you have stepped over a threshold into, into our denser cosmopolitan community or rural.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll definitely take that into consideration, appreciate that. Anyone else for public comment? Okay. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the nomination to the Red Hook Public Library. And I believe, yes, here we are. And Jared Vengren has been recommended by the Red Hook Library Board. I believe we have the library board president on Zoom, Anna Gregg. Welcome, Anna. Thank you, Jared, for coming in. For those of you who don't know, this is Jared Vengren sitting here. And as per the charter of the Red Hook Public Library, it is the role of the board of the village to appoint directors to the board of the library. And so we appreciate you coming in, and perhaps you will just let us know what interests you about the library, why you'd like to be on the board, how you see your background, skills, experience adding to the library board.
Thanks, Erin. My name is Jared Vengren. I was born and raised in Red Hook, so graduated class of 05, and have been a resident of the town of Red Hook, but recently moved into the village.
Wise choice.
Loving it so far, and a number of things. One, I have a nine-month-old daughter at home who has been spending probably about an hour every day or every other day at the library, so I've become a lot more aware of some of the programming there. Previously, I was contributing to the Economic Development Committee, which is no longer in existence, and partially becoming a father, partially moving into the village, partially just kind of where I am in my life, like really looking for opportunities to contribute to the village, to give back. I've had a great time kind of observing here and seeing what all of you, do to contribute to the vibrancy of Red Hook, and the library feels like a really good opportunity to contribute. As far as background, I am a realtor in town. My wife and I own the Reclaim Motel just north of here. My day job is as a recruiter for AI engineers, so I think there's an opportunity, one, given my roots in Red Hook, to kind of expand the community that uses the library, and then two, my background in recruiting and employment to kind of try to help contribute on that front here in the village as well.
Great. And maybe get us all into AI, perhaps. Maybe some of us kicking and screaming. Does anybody on the board have questions for Jared? I'll take that as a no. Then I believe it becomes a motion to appoint Jared Vengren to the...
I have a question, actually, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you conceive of as the role of library trustee? Or, I mean, maybe you haven't. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been able to attend a few meetings.
Oh.
I don't know that there's one specific answer. I think liaison to the community, I think steward of the library in the best interests. There's forward planning for kind of how, the current programming, future programming, funding, all of those things matter. So it's a bit of an all of the above. I think one area where I think I could contribute is really my roots in the community, and being a connector between the current board, the conversations that might need to happen in the future, local residents, that sort of thing. But I think to put it succinctly, I think just to be, responsible stewards of what's already built and continue to grow on that.
Cool, thank you.
And I believe this would be appointing you to fulfill someone else's term, correct? Anna, is that right?
That's correct. It's the remainder of Sarah DeVere's term when she created a vacancy.
And do we know when that term is up?
I believe it's September 2027, but I can confirm that. I think it's about 2 years.
Yeah, that sounds right, because they're 5-year terms, right? So I will make a motion to appoint Jared Vengren to the board of the Red Hook Public Library. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A couple, all
I'll
right.
fight the second question.
Yeah.
Are there any other applicants?
So the library has, they put out a, and Anna, help me when I get this wrong, put out a request, people, made people aware that there was a board seat open, and they took applications. And I believe they also had, they asked people to come to at least one board meeting before they would consider recommending them. And so I think there have been other people that they've considered, but Jared is the one that they're putting forward. Did I say that all right, Anna?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. Welcome to the library board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And welcome to the village. Happy to have you. Okay, with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session to review, or we're going to do the matters leading to employment now. Motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. This shouldn't take too long. We will be back. We have more business to do.
Congratulations, Jared.
Okay, I will take a motion to go back into public session.
So moved.
Thank you, Tony. Second?
I'll second.
I think I heard Amy first. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. So we're just going to follow up with an action. We have a part-time police officer, Lieutenant Hildebrand, if you want to say a few words about Colin.
Sure. Pat Hildebrand, Lieutenant of the Red Police Department. Come tonight to propose Colin Miller for part-time police officer. Colin is currently a full-time police officer at Newcastle Police Department in Westchester. He was currently before that full-time in the city of Poughkeepsie. He'd be a good fit, like I say in every single meeting when I bring somebody here, I look for unique people that will fit into our police department, fits to what works for the village and works for the town. Colin's a field training officer. He's been awarded, community policing awards when he was in the city of Poughkeepsie. He was on, so all those things work for the village of Red Hook. So I'm proposing Colin for part-time.
Terrific. And so I will make a motion that the village hires Colin Miller as a part-time police officer for the village of Red Hook. And I will also stipulate that with his length of experience, he would come in at the 5th-year rate. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mel Corco. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, one second. And his wife, Carmela, I forgot to introduce her.
Well, the best part is your village resident, so we're happy to have you in the village. Colin, we're happy to have you as part of the Red Hook Police Department. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Look
Thank
forward
you.
to
Congratulations.
seeing you around the village,
Absolutely.
and you as
Yes,
well.
I'll be longer.
Perfect.
Yeah, come in
Excellent.
and see me to do your.
Yeah, I'll walk all that with him. Okay. I go. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good night,
Thank you very
everybody.
much. That's his name. Okay. Good stuff. All right, next, we'll stick with the police items. The next 3 items are the 3 police contracts. The first one we have is for the school resource officer. This is for the school year that we're in, so starting in September of 2025, going through June of 2026. The contract itself is the same contract that we had last year. There are a couple of differences. The rate is an increase because the pay and benefits go up. And our village attorney had recommended a couple of additions. And I believe it's number 19, which is the indemnification. And I'm just wanting to add that. And I believe there's a section on No, that's not in this one.
It's
That
in the
was-
other.
That was the addition in the verbiage. Our,
Mutual indemnification.
yes. But the rest of it is the contract that we've used for the past 2 years. The school has reviewed it, the school has approved it also. So, anybody have any questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve the contract with the, authorize me to sign, thank you, so this is a motion to authorize me to sign the contract for SRO services with the Red Hook Central School District.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Amy. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Tony. Any further questions, comments?
Good luck getting Patrick to only 190 hours of overtime.
He is on call all the time, and they take full-on advantage. And just to
As they should, I mean.
and just to reiterate, when something comes up, they'll call Patrick first. If they didn't have Patrick, they would have to call the state police, for example, or they would call or they call 911 and they get who they get. And one of the many benefits of Lieutenant Hildenbrand is he is from and of this community, and so often he will already know people involved, have connections. If it's a student issue, he often knows the parents, and he is able to deal with a lot of issues before they become worse or before any time has passed. And it really is a huge value to the school. Is that right? Excellent. And they obviously recognize that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. The next contract is with the town for police services. Now, one of the differences is the town does a calendar year, so this is for the year 2026. That's also why if you look at the rates, they're different. They're a little higher because it incorporates the pay increases as of June 1st based on the union contract that we have. So that's why there's a difference in the pay rates. And also, just to clarify the lump sum, there isn't a fixed number of patrols that are done. Those are fixed by Lieutenant Hildenbrand to keep within the amount of funding that we receive from the town. So if there are a lot of calls, then there'll be less patrols because the numbers all need to work out. And in the past, we've done a lump sum average pay rate for a police officer, and we've now split it out into, depending on who you get, is what you're going to get charged, is what the town will be charged. And there is now a capital reserve incorporated in here. We will have further conversations with the town supervisor about a contribution towards a police car. Anybody have any questions?
I have two.
Yep.
Do they pay the mileage monthly?
Yes.
And when would they be putting, like, would it be, the contribution to the reserve be at the beginning of the calendar year? Just thinking about, well.
That's a
that's-
new item in this contract,
So it hasn't been-
so we really haven't worked that out yet. There's still further conversation as to whether or not they would contribute, perhaps purchasing an entire car, which would be more obviously than this,
Yeah.
so,
Purchasing
wanted to-
it, but putting it in the village's name? Or they
Yes.
would own it?
Yep. Or if it made sense for them to own it, but it's gonna be, it'd be under the purview of our lieutenant, so probably makes more sense to have it be owned by the village. Yeah, was that 2 questions?
It was 2
Yes,
questions,
okay.
thank you.
How do these rates compare to the current rates?
They're higher. I don't have a percentage increase.
The current rates are right here, so if you.
Well, that's the
Sorry,
current rates for this
for 2025, this
25
fiscal
to
year.
26.
Yeah.
The rates, so for the part-timers, it's because they don't get, they get limited benefits. They do get they get a life insurance package for them. And they get uniform, they get outfitted with a uniform, they get cleaning of that uniform. I mean, there are a handful of benefits, but the big benefits are for the full-time officers. And so included in the full-time officers is the health insurance, retirement. Those items are significant, they've gone up significantly. I can get you the number that they went up. Part of what I've been trying to do over the last couple of years is to make sure that all of the cost associated with a police officer is incorporated into these rates. So I just don't remember.
Here,
The
the
specific.
part-timers went up by 8.8%.
Oh, there you go.
It's calculator.
Oops.
Okay.
It's in, well, we
And
have, we have.
I'm happy to, I'll get you a chart. I mean, I can get you a chart of what, now,
I
the
just
part
want an
that's,
approximation, that's all.
the part that's different though for the town is the last contract was a combined average number, which was $65 an hour. So whoever filled, that's primarily for court. The only other time we'd use those rates would be a special event that wouldn't normally fall under the lump sum patrol. And it was a lump sum, so it was really more a matter of if we had the lieutenant and sergeant always there, then we probably weren't working out right. So it made more sense to just say, whoever comes, you're gonna pay that cost. So it's not an easy increase number. Which
I
is
think it's worth saying that they are getting a very good deal for $120,000.
Mhm.
So,
Yes, though this current year that we're in, 2025, their lump sum was 110.
no, I appreciate that it's gone up. I'm just saying that I look forward to larger
We have
numbers in the
further, yep,
future.
we have further conversations to have for 2027.
That's the motion I make.
No, but I would take a motion to authorize me to sign the contract for police services with the town.
So moved.
Thank you, Tony. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Is that Fran? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, great. Last one is with the Village of Tivoli. We are set up with the Village of Tivoli is they request patrols. So there isn't a fixed amount of patrols, they're not always the same. And so to make that work, it's just based on rates. So I will say that most of the hours are overtime, because it's usually a full-time officer who's already worked a full day, and then they will cover Tivoli. And this also had the same additions of the indemnification, and there's also a reference to, I believe there's a reference to cancellation of the contract. Yes. There's two things. Any questions on this one?
The timing.
So the Village of Tivoli is on the same fiscal year that we are, and so the timing for this one is, it goes from June of 2025 to,
I see them.
it's the same, so because they're on the similar fiscal year than we are, so that's their fiscal year. Any other questions? Did I get a motion for this one? No, so I need a motion, asking for a motion to authorize me to sign the contract for police services with the Village of Tivoli.
So moved. I'll take a second.
All right, Mel Corca and Amy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great, thank you. All right.
I'm sorry.
So the next item on the agenda is,
Okay, if I can just, we are the police department for Tivoli then, right? They don't have their own police department.
Correct.
Tivoli does not have their own police department. When we are not on patrol, the county sheriff's department does patrol the whole area, as does the state troopers. So we are not their only option. They however are contracting with us for specific patrols. So the next item on the agenda is a professional services agreement with Delaware Engineering for the sewer expansion. I got confused because I thought I had put it on the agenda and then I didn't see it on the agenda and then I just didn't see it. So I apologize. The idea here is we need to contract with them. However, this is not a contract that says we are going to pay them $1.9 million. This is a contract that says that as we proceed, this is what, and these numbers match what is in the engineering report for the system upgrade. I am happy to have a conversation now if you all feel prepared to review and vote on. If you would prefer, we can also push this off to next week's workshop meeting. Robert Flores was available to come this evening, and because I thought that it wasn't on the agenda, I said, oh, we'll push it to next week, so that's just my confusion.
I prefer.
You'd like to push to next week? You got it. But this, we will need to address this next week, and I will also make sure that we'll pull out the numbers, the budget associated with the whole project that's roughly $20 million, and that's what this is based on. And that's what our grants have been based on. It's based on the original engineering report that you can find on the website, or we can send you if you need that.
Tony, are you making a motion to table?
If that's what's required, yes.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you, Jen.
And you're Nick?
I'm a name.
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is Dutchess County, this is an agreement with Dutchess County related to planning and zoning actions. So as it stands now, every planning and zoning action needs to be sent down to Dutchess County Planning for their review. This agreement is basically saying there's simple things that the county is stipulating is of local control, which is normally what they send back. But this, if we have this agreement, then we don't have to send it to them and wait the 30 days to find out that they're just going to say it's local control. So I can tell you that the planning department is our planning clerk is in agreement with this agreement. And so I will ask if you all will make a motion to authorize me to sign this contract.
So moved.
Thank you, Tony. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Fran. Any questions, discussions, comments? Okay,
It's pretty slow.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a renewal of the Shared Services Procurement Assistance Program. There's no money associated with this. This is, it basically is just an agreement that we can use the county services should we so choose. And it puts us, it allows us to use their purchasing program, if I remember correctly. And this is one of those where there's really no downside, and should we ever find we need it, then we're ready to go. So I would ask for a motion to authorize me to sign this contract.
So moved?
Thank you, Mel Corca. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any, questions? I think this is just for the, using our people. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. Okay. The next item is, this would be to acknowledge and accept a donation to the Village Green, to the village for Fall Planting Day. Deckard Construction donates their time to dig the holes, to plant the trees. At this moment, we do not have the numbers,
No.
so we will have to table this, this one for next week. So I will make a motion to table this item until next week. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay, next item is events permit discussion, and we have the tree lighting. And I'll let
You do it.
Amy take it away.
So the Chamber of Commerce has proposed village holiday tree lighting on December the 5th between 5 and 7. They ask that the East Market Street be closed from Route 9 to Elizabeth Street for those 2 hours. You'll see we made some corrections to this was at a meeting with them, so they're fully aware of this. The key thing, I think, to know is just the road closure. This will involve DPW setting up the no parking signs earlier on that day. But the road does not actually close till 5, reopens at 7. The chamber's gonna manage the garbage cans, so there's no additional DPW time there. They did request that DPW set up it's not actually called a light tree, what is it called?
Light tower.
Light tower, so sorry. But near the Key Bank lot to illuminate that area. They're hoping to encourage pedestrian flow throughout the village. And the mayor's gonna work with Patrick on whether or not we need more than our usual RHPD coverage for that 2 hours.
What day of the week is that?
Is it Friday?
It's a Friday.
And just to add a little, last year, they did this tree lighting, and they had a really nice turnout. The issue was there were people parked, and the road was still open, and it just felt really
It's
unsafe.
dark. It's dangerous.
And it's dark, and so this, in discussion with Lieutenant Hildenbrand, he said, no, this would be possible, and I think this will just make it so much nicer as a celebration. For that period of time, so.
They will not be setting anything up, I forgot to say, in the road. So we don't have to be concerned about that. Their music is all non-amplified, people playing instruments as they walk.
Roving minstrels.
Yes.
Was the word.
And so there won't be anything set up, it'll just be for pedestrian convenience.
And do we know the traffic plan that they'll do for detours?
Yes, so it'll go from Route 9 to Elizabeth Street. So if you're coming this way, you'll have to turn on Elizabeth. If you're coming this way, if you want to go out 199, I believe they'll send them down Fisk Street. And then coming this way, you can do Cherry and go out that way. The nice part is that's relatively simple, and the fact that it's just 2 hours, it should work. Hopefully it will work pretty well.
Well, we'll see how well, but it
Yes.
should work.
But it will certainly make it it'll just
It'll be
add to
much
the
safer.
festivity.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that there'll be some nice light snowflakes, and it'll be
Not
about
freezing
32.
cold.
Yeah. That we don't control. So as, I'll ask for a motion to approve the permit application.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Can I? Okay, fine, then I'll second.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. Good. Did you have added comments?
No,
or-
wait.
Okay. All right, the next item on the agenda. So we have the North Broadway Corridor Land Use and Zoning Study, which is also referred to as Gateway North. We need to come up with a common phrase. We had a special meeting on October 13th, which followed the special meeting we had back in March. I put it on the agenda, we talked about it at our workshop as well. I would like to move forward with the formal process. And I think, and we had David Sokol make an interesting request, which Mel Cork and I will bring to the planning consultant and ask for her opinion on that, to consider that. But what I would like, and then also the zoning amendment, which is officially now referred to as local law B, if the law passes, it then becomes a number. And I believe we have one law passed, so this would be the second. But it's not that until it's officially passed, which is why it's referred to as B. And so we need to process both of these, both the planning document and also the local law. And we need a public hearing. And to set the public hearing, we need 10 days prior to, so which is why what I want to propose is that we set the public hearing for both the land use study and the zoning amendment for December 8th, because next week's workshop's too soon. So this gives us time to consider whether or not we're going to make any adjustments, and then have those documents ready and fixed, and put them out there on the website, available 10 days prior to the meeting. And if we don't make it for some reason, then we can postpone the public hearing, but I would like to move forward. So I would like to make a motion that we set the public hearing. Well, before I do that, anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
Was the Rupco diagram removed from the study, do you know? I haven't seen that.
I don't think so.
Okay, I have concerns about that. I don't
Okay.
want that diagram in our comprehensive
Okay.
plan.
Yep, well, that can be one of the adjustments that we do. Great.
Yeah, I had some questions about the differences between this most recent version of the introductory local law B, as we're calling it right now, and the version in the special workshop that we. So I would love to see redlining on those differences. There were a few that I was able to find, but yes, I'd love to see what the differences between those are.
I think that's a very fair question. I know one of the differences is the size requirements for the different studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and those were adjusted down because we want to be mindful of Rupco and the
Funding they'll get.
the funding and the requirements in the funding. And so we had limits that were higher than what they allow. And so Mel Cork and I felt that it was legitimate to reduce them to allow for Rupco to have the possibility of that funding. So that I know is one of the changes, but I think it's a fair point, especially given that we had our special meeting to have a document that has the redlining on it. So I'll ask Bonnie to put that together. Any other questions at this point?
I was thinking about this a lot between our last meeting and now, and I just had some thoughts that I would like to read out. I brought some copies for you as well. This is not anything, it's just, I'm trying to, I'm trying to be well-intentioned, and I feel that in the past, I haven't always been clear in, and have seemed maybe antagonistic or what have you, and that's never my desire. So I am attempting to look at this document and see and present why I think firstly Gateway North is an incredible opportunity for Red Hook, but I have some opinions of the law as written. For me, why I think this is an incredible opportunity is I would like to increase the size of Red Hook's economy, and I would like to create economic opportunities for the people who currently or will soon live in Red Hook. Currently the town is in the visioning process for the comprehensive plan. In the first visioning workshop, a lot of participants expressed concern about the limited economic diversity in Red Hook. You have Bard, you have the school district, you have Hannaford. Otherwise, opportunities to earn a living wage are scarce. So I'm very keen to see in the retail. I think it's really, really great what we're doing in the residential portion of the contract, but we have a lot here that we have these prescriptive list of allowable uses as far as business goes. And so my concern is about the fact that we have these as opposed to a less like if you allow for businesses to open that do not, as long as businesses are not violating noise, obviously legality, pollution of any kind, smell, that sort of thing, it seems to me that we could just let businesses open. Currently, we have a limit on formula businesses in the language of this, but we do currently have formula businesses in the village that I think we would say are, I mean, we have Williams, we have Stewart's, we have the CVS, and I can understand why we don't want certain kinds of formula businesses like dollar stores. Obviously, those are no good in a village such as ours. But I think that there's value in looking at how we've written this to allow for restrictions on formula businesses, but not an outright ban. These are just some of, I could read this out. I don't want to take up too much of our time, but I do have a lot of just some ideas. I have copies of them. I'm very happy to give you those. I'm trying to enter a conversation with everyone on the board and with the public, of course, about these. I was really excited by David Sokol's offering today in public comment. And that's the kind of thing I would like to engage with. I know you and Mel Corker will be meeting with planning, and these are some of the things that I also would like to have you address in your talks.
Could you share the list, because you said you wanted discussion, so.
Yes.
How long is it?
It's 2 pages, but this is just a suggestion for something that rather than banning formula businesses outright, I have just a suggestion for how we could do an economic benefit test. So you don't have to ban formula businesses outright, but you can determine if a certain formula business, a specific formula business, would actually add, sorry, would you, yes, I draw it.
There's 3?
Yeah. Would be of benefit to, and it's in the meeting, so I don't want everyone to, I could read it out, but you can also read it at your leisure. I just want to bring it up in the spirit of wanting to have a conversation about it that's not monopolizing the meeting. David had 3 minutes in public comment, so this is just some of my thoughts.
By formula business, I'm sorry, that's not, do you mean
As defined in-
franchises? Franchise. No, I know, as franchise, but in general, it's a franchise.
Yes, that's.
Well, right, we're on public record, and people who may watch this later may not know what it is.
Yes, but we're referring to the document in which formula
I know.
business is defined, so.
But they don't all have it, so.
Yes,
Well,
okay, I can
that's-
read
I'm
the whole
just-
law.
no,
Is
no.
that?
No,
No,
what I was
just
saying
clarifying
is,
for people that are following.
I just wanted to say it's a franchise, that's all.
I see, okay. Okay.
So one of the things that we talked about when we had that meeting,
With Bond.
the
Information session.
information
Mhm.
session,
Mhm.
you raised this idea about about spelling, why they were spelling out all the individual.
Mhm, mhm.
And the reason is that the planner said, and I'm gonna paraphrase, is that we were doing an amendment to the existing code. And in the existing code, we name out those businesses.
Mhm.
So it is following basically almost the grammar and the language legally that we have set up in our code. There are places that have adopted what they call form-based code. So it's sort of the idea of, the building's supposed to look this way, and we don't really care as much what's happening inside. And that is a more modern type of code, but it would require us to kind of amend all of our code. Does that make sense?
But this is for Gateway North, this specific zone.
Because it also relates to everything else. It does incorporate, because we've defined those uses in our code already, and we were referring to that. Does that make sense?
But that's for those zones here. This is kind of what I'm referring to in the opportunity we have in Gateway North. Like, that's existing, but this is a new zone. So those things, I mean, we could decide that we wanted to retroactively apply some of those to already existing codes outside of Gateway North. But what I'm saying is that we're not necessarily held to those in the same way. I mean, obviously, they're there, so we are taking that as our model. But, so for instance, this, in the 2022 amendment, which both you and Karen were on the board for, where we had the amendment from the highway, or the rewriting of the code from the highway business to now the general business district.
Went from highway to gateway business district.
Which is general business, is that Four Corners?
General business is the four, yes.
So highway was previously,
It was one, it was
Except-
199 east as you came in.
199 east as you came in. Okay. And so we have, that's Gateway, and then we have Gateway North. So it's basically everything coming in from the east and the north. Is that?
So the gateway business district is that, and that's a separate zone. What we're proposing for the Gateway North, portion of that is currently in the general business district. They're always, the highway district, the amendment was basically to reflect that we're not focused uniquely on or primarily on highway, auto, truck kind of businesses, which the village has very much so in the past. And so it was reflecting a different flavor and talking about how it's the gateway into the village as opposed to you're coming off the highway. It was somewhat semantics, but it also changed some of the allowable uses that were there. That was never in the general business district. So in the Gateway North section, there's a whole area that's currently in the general business.
Right.
And so there's more of a relationship between that area than there was in the other one. That was sort of an easier, it was already separate and made it, whereas this one, we're changing a portion of it, which is why, and this is also something we could certainly get, our planning consultant, this is what she does for a living. Get her perspective on what the challenges are if we were to do something significantly different in that area. The other thing that we talked a fair amount about was we have a center of our business. We don't necessarily want to take away from that, we want to complement that. And so that, what is the optimal way to do that in this context? So this is this is why I wanted to bring it up now instead of, at the beginning of the actual formal process, because this is the discussion that we've been hoping to have, for this past, many months, so this is good.
Appreciate that.
Good, no, so what I'm gonna suggest is that we can all read what you've written and thought through here, and Mel Quirk and I can share it with the planning consultant and see what her perspective is, and that we can take up further conversation next Monday at our workshop to see where we're falling on that, because that still gives us plenty of time to make any changes for the public hearing. And the public hearing doesn't restrict us to where we are in that moment. Public hearing, we're supposed to consider what anyone says, and we, the board, can determine that we want to make some further changes. But I'm also at a point where it's time to start the process officially.
I agree.
So that's great.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Good. Any other comments? So I believe we have a motion on the floor? No. Oh, maybe I started and didn't continue. So I would like a motion to set the public hearing for the North Broadway Corridor Land Use and Zoning Study and the Gateway North Zoning Amendment for December 8th.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Quirk. A second?
A second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
As I should ask, anyone's opposed?
Now you could just do roll.
I could also do roll, and I should probably adjust that. Great. Okay, so just clarifying that the next meetings The workshop is next Monday, November 24th, starting with voucher review at 6 and the general business meeting at 6:30. The next board meeting is December 8th, same timing. And that leads us to department and committee reports. And our treasurer is here to report on treasurer things.
Good evening. Not working.
Just keep,
You have to keep talking and talk right into it, and it'll start working.
Okay.
It's very counterintuitive, sorry.
As of October 31st, the village's finances are as follows. In our general fund, we have $197,992.44. In our NICLAS general fund account, we have $1,214,327.30. In our water fund account, we have $183,873.17. In the NICLAS water fund, we have $151,671.69. In our sewer fund, we have $48,473.53. In the payroll clearing account, we have $75,691.65. In the Hart Scrabble account, we have $42.76. In the Village Green account, we have $5,264.68. Our health insurance deductible account carries a balance of $9,647.32. As for our reserve savings accounts, at the end of last month, the fire departments held $10,631.08. The police department reserve account, $18,267.70. We were able to set up our USDA water reserve account at NICLAS, so it will be earning more interest at this time. Our highway reserve account holds $609.99. The snow reserve account holds $3,510.10. The tower reserve account holds $18,956.91. Our unemployment reserve account holds $7,519.44. As for our court reserve, there's $3,530 in that account, and the office reserve holds $1,040.90. Monthly expenses for October in our general fund were $149,515.13. In our water fund, $60,632.41. In the payroll clearing account, $2,941.71. The sewer fund expenses for the month were $19,714.18. As I mentioned, our new account is set up, and since this is largely a dormant account, we can predict that will should generate, of course, interest rates will fluctuate, but generate about $5,400 a year. And so far, over 3 months, we've earned interest of $16,434.07 in our NICLAS accounts. The mayor, Michelle, and I have been working with our auditors, and they've made a huge dent. They've spent 2 days on site, and we uploaded quite a bit of material for them. They expect to come back for another day, but it's going very well, and they feel like they've made great progress.
Yeah, just to clarify, these are 2 years being audited, year ending 2023 and year ending 2024. And I'll also add, I believe we had 2 partners of the company who were here on site, which is highly unusual. We are very fortunate to have that level of
Yeah,
attention.
yeah, we all feel that they're ridiculously organized and efficient, and they have a great collaboration platform that we've been using. So anyway, we're all really happy with them.
It's always nice to hear when it's going well.
Sorry?
It's always nice to hear when it's going well.
Absolutely.
But
Intense, but
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. I need a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, on to reports. So I have the police report. In the month of October, there were 357 incidents, 195 in the village of Red Hook, 146 in the town of Red Hook, and 16 in Tivoli. There were 101 water tower security checks, 73 uniform traffic tickets, 38 in the village of Red Hook, 30 in the town of Red Hook, and 5 in the village of Tivoli. Parking tickets, there were 12 in the village of Red Hook and none in the town of Red Hook or the village of Tivoli. There were 7 arrests, 2 in the village of Red Hook and 5 in the town of Red Hook and none in the village of Tivoli. Fire incident report.
There's something at Hanford in the village report, which should probably be in the town.
Good point. And does it say village?
It's in the village section and it's.
Gotcha. That should be automatic. Okay, for the fire department in the month of September, which is the latest information that I have, is there were 26 incidents. 13 of them were in the 300s, which are EMS types. 7 were alarms, and 5 were assistant village service call, person in distress type call. And there was 1 that was weather related. I think it was a down power line. And then in the outside of the village, so it would be in the town, there were 75 incidents. 41 of those were the 300s or EMS type calls. 700 were the alarms. 26 were alarms. 4 were, I can also give you the sheet afterwards.
I just want to make sure that for the record, it's not 7,000.
It's not 7,000 alarms, yeah, sorry. There were 4 fire incidents, 1 hazard, 2 of the assistant village service call type, and 1 good intent smoke scare call, and that was for the month of September. Let's get to the next part. Okay, so the next item is a water sewer department report. So we had an operational meeting on October 16th and 30th where we reviewed both water and sewer operations. Sewer, the list of equipment and supplies needed for the sewer plant has been reviewed and okayed for purchase. You saw them in the voucher list. Most of the items have been delivered and are in operation. The focus has been on solids management, the regulation of the age of the biology or the bugs. The reference is MCRT. Next time I will write out what that means. I don't remember. Do you remember? No. With the new equipment, monitoring the solids is now more precise and proper wasting is going on, and the concept is as the bugs get older, you want to eliminate some of them. You get too many of them and you need to eliminate them, and that's literally just taking them out of the tank, and that's referred to as wasting. And that appears so far to be working very well. That has smoothed out the operations of, this is the new plant, and that so far seems to be positive. Electric wire has been laid to accommodate a potential alarm system and to make permanent some of the connections for equipment being used at the plant. We received no odor complaints that tied to the wastewater treatment plant in the month of October. The last wastewater treatment plant odor complaint we received before October was in early May. Rural Water is scheduled to meet with the sewer team in mid-November to help the team begin developing an asset management plan. I think we're still on. That was certainly up in the air. We did, we'll report on this next month as well, but we did get an odor complaint on Friday, very recently, but that's in the month of November, so I'll report on that. Apparently one of the belts on the odor control system frayed, that's the right word, and so that has been replaced. Water, we reviewed operations at the water treatment plant. It is running smoothly. Chlorine residuals are good. We do need to consider an auto flushing hydrant in the eastern area of Route 199. By not having a loop in every section of our water, opening the hydrant and letting it flush brings the water out and allows the chlorine that we treat the water with out into the system to the ends. Monthly and annual sampling schedule is being finalized along with the appropriate supplies needed on an ongoing basis. H2O is now managing the reporting to the county. The installation of the check valve and the new injection point is where we put in the chlorine in the system. We have a temporary one, so we need to install a new one. That is a winter project at this point. And then the rest of the other items, crosswalk update, if you haven't, so the DOT required a permit, so that delayed the implementation a little bit of the crosswalks. They were painted last Thursday, so if you haven't done a tour around, actually right out front, we've got some of them painted. Village financial audits, our new auditors, RBT, have begun their 2023-24 audits. They've spent a couple days, it was actually in November. Further updates to come. I just want to acknowledge this is a heavy lift for Treasurer Mary Beth and Controller Michelle and Jen, as there are a lot of documents required to be produced. I will say that one of the things that is gratifying is all the work that Jen and the clerk team and Mary Beth have done, and Lori before that, has made this document procurement much simpler. And so we've made significant progress in that piece, which is very gratifying. We do know that there will be several recommendations once the audit is complete, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to improve our financial organization and processes. In addition to just the organization and speed, and there's a knowledge level of the auditors that is just really gratifying. Youth Police Initiative from October 21st to October 25th, Dutchess County's Youth and Police Initiative, which is I believe how it's called on their website, took place in Red Hook at the VFW. It's a way for youth, police departments, and community organizations to build positive change and trust. It's referred to as YPI. The curriculum produces strong, sustainable relationships that positively impact youth and police while reducing risk factors for delinquency and police targeting. Over the course of 5 2.5-hour after-school sessions, police officers and specially selected youth from local high schools share histories, complete team-building exercises, and role-play scenarios, including with the Saturday graduation ceremony. Big thank you to Carmen Smallwood, who's the Assistant Commissioner for Youth Services for the county, for bringing this program to Red Hook. Sauk Hill Watershed Community Advisory Council met on October 29th here in Village Hall. The group discussed the town comprehensive plan and a request to host a kitchen table discussion around water issues to add input to the plan. Sheila Buff and Amanda Sandor attended the Hudson River Water Authority, or Alliance meeting, I think it's Alliance meeting, and shared their takeaways. Jen Adams offered to reach out to the Interact Club because they had expressed an interest in volunteering to do some water sampling, specifically in areas in Rhinebeck. Fiscal sponsorship process was reviewed. After discussion, the group felt that the Open Space Institute, or OSI, would be a better fit for the Salk Hill watershed community. Further communication will take place with OSI following up on questions the group had. The next meeting is scheduled for this coming Wednesday, November 19th. Red Hook Library, Red Hook Public Library had their October board meeting on October 16th. Meet and greet was scheduled for October 16th before the board meeting, and it was quiet, not many guests attended. The treasurer reported that expenses are in line with budget. Income is waiting for the final tax payment for the year. The parking lot paving project had additions due to drainage and landscaping. Final walkthrough for that project is scheduled after the landscaping is complete. The porch project has been 100% reimbursed. A carpenter and door person will be coming to review the back door to determine ADA accessibility feasibility. Draft budget will be presented at the November meeting with a final budget presentation at the December meeting. Circulation, and I'll add, I believe that Panda is scheduled to record one of those meetings. So is it November or December?
Thursday, November.
Thursday, okay, which is great. Circulation and foot traffic is up versus last year. Mid-Hudson plans to move patrons outside of the tax base to the correct library district. I believe that's just where someone with a library card is recorded.
So, if you read the rest of this, outside of the tax base, the entire town and the entire school district are the tax base.
Yes.
So those living in Village of Red Hook will be assigned RHPO. Everyone else?
So I believe there were some,
There's just a little area in Milan, so that's.
understood, but I also think that there may have been some folks perhaps with a Red, what I understood was there were people with a Red Hook library card that actually live in a different library district. That there was a series of things that were going to happen. One is if you were in a different library district, you were going to be assigned to the correct library district.
Which should always be true, yeah.
Yes, and that then those who lived in the Village of Red Hook would be associated with this library, those in the Village of Tivoli would be associated with Tivoli, which I think is mostly happening anyway, and then the remaining areas would be divvied up based on a percentage.
But those are not considered to be outside of the tax base.
Because we pay for both Tivoli.
We pay,
and
yeah, we
Red
pay.
Hook.
Correct, well, correct, yes.
So I'm just questioning only because it says.
Well, these are my words, so this
Okay,
is me.
yeah.
My understanding was, and I didn't probe for asking to clarify, but my understanding was, what I heard was there were some people who were incorporated into our tax base that should be somewhere else.
No.
So I got it wrong.
Yeah. Because
I'll clarify from their notes.
Yeah.
And I'll update that at the next meeting. Thank you.
Sure.
And so their next board meeting is this Thursday at 6:30. Public spaces, Abraham's Park. I will say they are meeting upstairs as we speak. And they met Monday, October 20th in Village Hall. I will say Betsy Brower has done a great job of encouraging more people to attend this meeting. We had quite a few at our last meeting. We reviewed a list of possible grant opportunities that David Sokol had put together. We discussed the possibility of working with BARD to have some students develop master plans for the park as a senior project, for example. One of the things that we discussed was we didn't necessarily want to ask just one person because we wanted to have options. Because this, by not going with a more professional, it may not be what we're looking for, but to give a student the opportunity who was interested in having this be their senior project seemed like a potentially exciting option. And Ash is looking to step down as chair at the end of the year. David Sokol asked the group to look at other parks and find a favorite for the next meeting, which is tonight. Climate Smart Community Task Force. So the task force met on Thursday, October 23rd. We reviewed the resiliency planning framework. I believe at the last meeting I mentioned that the grant with the Cornell Cooperative Extension is related to the resiliency planning. It's not specifically to get us to bronze certification. In theory, this is the first step towards doing that. So as part of this grant, that it's the Cornell Cooperative Extension that has the grant. So they will be making a presentation with recommendations for next step. They are on the agenda for next week's workshop meeting to come and present. The steps, once we get that list of recommendations, the next steps are to prioritize projects that would lead to the points to get us to bronze certification. Yeah, there's that. And then just under community engagement, just to share with you some of the fun stuff that happens. There was I guess it was an auction item at the library, which was Directors for a Day. And Elliot and, it'll come back to me, twin boys who are 4 years old, were Directors for a Day, and they, in their duties, came to check on Village Hall, so they came to see me in my office, and they also came down here. If you get my newsletter, there's actually a picture of them sitting in my chair. I'm standing behind them at my desk, and then they're also down here with Court Clerk Rebecca Ken with the gavel, but the very big one that the judge has. And they looked particularly pleased with that activity. It was wonderful. The Town Comprehensive Plan Information Session, I did attend that session that was at Red Hook High School. It was well attended. I imagine, Mel Corky, you might be speaking about it, but just from my perspective, it was really nice to see a productive, creative session with residents visioning a positive future for the town. Bard College had a celebration for their new dormitories, and I attended on behalf of the village, and it's really, I was also on the town planning board when that project came before the planning board, so it was really fun to see it go from plans to real life. They're really quite lovely, and it adds, I believe, 400 rooms. What their next step is, they're actually going to be taking students from other dorms into these dorms so that they can do some renovations. So the impact of the additional housing at Bard, we won't see that full impact probably until next year. But they did it. It's a beautiful job, and it's highly sustainable. I believe is it zero?
Net zero?
Net zero. I believe it's net zero. But there's information on the Bard campus website. And then for the Youth Police Initiative, I was not able to make it to the graduation, but I was able to stop by one evening and meet the trainers and a couple of the students, and a really good, thoughtful program that I think is really terrific. I do think that the fun part, which I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for, was the role play. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is the police officers play teenagers and the teenagers play police officers. And because the police officers often deal with teenagers, they go full on and they have a real blast. And the students who are now the police officers are like, wait, you're not supposed to do that. And so they recognize that the role of trying to bring things in order. I don't know what the actual situations are, but it's just imagining that, it just gives me joy. So so I was glad to be able to stop by and so that's it for me. Actually, it's not it for me. I'm just gonna, nope, I'll do it later. Deputy Mayor Carroll.
Okay. I'm going to read my reports first and then the building reports. Red Hook Together meets every first Thursday of the month. The October 9th meeting was held over Zoom. Participants were prompted to bring a hot topic to the conversation to discuss a theme or an issue that was top of mind. Town Council member-elect Ken McNorelli discussed a killing frost. Sarah Uglini discussed, she's the director of the community center, discussed accessibility improvements to the community center building. Bard CCE spoke of the Thanksgiving Families program, which allows Red Hook families to host international students for a holiday meal for students who may not be able to travel home over the Thanksgiving break. Town of Red Hook Comprehensive Plan. The town committee meets monthly from 7:30 to 9 p.m. on the fourth Tuesday at Town Hall. The town hosted a comprehensive plan public workshop on Tuesday, October 21st. Participants were broken into 7 conversation groups, each made up of 8 to 12 participants. People were asked to respond to several prompts that invited participants to envision a great place to live, a livable built environment, a resilient economy, and a sustainable natural environment. For those people who were not able to attend the event, there's an online survey option offered at surveymonkey.com/r/redhookvision, all one word. So if there's any trustees that do want to contribute, they can contribute that way. The Town of Red Hook Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee met on Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. In attendance were the committee members and the committee chair, Julia Solomon, and consultant Eric Peterson from Patterns of Progress. Conversation focused around kitchen table kits, further engagement opportunities, and key themes that emerged from the public workshop. One of the takeaways discussed was the overlap of town and village services and amenities. It will be interesting what the resulting plan, how it addresses this issue. Thank you to both, Town of Red Hook Community Preservation Fund. Thank you to both Village Clerk Jennifer Kavanaugh and the Town Clerk Deanna Cochran for explaining how I can get the balance. So you have to add up several lines in the monthly statement from the supervisor, which is published with their meeting, in their meeting packet every month. So I have both the September, but I'm gonna just read the October numbers. Which is, as of 10/31/25, $509,567.36. Sorry, that's a big number. And as, just for compare, I included the one before just to show how it continues to grow. So it's an important fund. Also of note, the Town of Red Hook has a public hearing for an amendment to the Community Preservation Plan on November 19th, 7:35 p.m. The amended text is as follows. And there's a red line document they have, but this is the text that I am putting in here just so that people know what is. In accordance with the New York State Town Law 3C Bond Resolution dated July 8th, 2003, Town of Red Hook Community Preservation Project Plan, Article 4, Chapter 64H, monies from the fund may be utilized to repay any indebtedness or obligations incurred pursuant to the local finance law consistent with effectuating the purposes of this section of our town law. I'm just including that because it's a shared fund that we all pay into if you pay over I think it's the median sales price on property, and it goes into the fund with the idea of helping to preserve the rural character of Red Hook by being able to preserve farmland and keep open spaces, and this expands that a bit, so just that people are aware if they have comments. Village of Red Hook communications. We have been working on various communication updates, such as Tivoli garbage and recycling guides and an upcoming election information signage for the sign in front of Village Hall. Also at Trustee Ugo's request, I provided her with graphics for the Red Hook Food Waste Collection Program and the Village Green Committee, both based on the visual village guides created earlier. I also created a simple sign for the town clerk to advertise signing up for the program at the village clerk window. Village and zoning review. There was an information session regarding the Gateway North zoning amendment draft law on October 13th at 4 p.m. Public comments revolved mostly around neighbors' concerns around traffic and the visual impact of having large-scale multifamily dwelling possibly prominently located on Route 9 at the north gateway of the village. The special zoning meeting can be watched in its entirety on YouTube because Panda videotaped it wonderfully. On October 30th, the mayor and I met with RUPCO representatives Timothy Aldred and Lauren Norton. Both Aldred and Norton shared funding sources, ownership models, sewage system setups, and phasing of the overall project that they are exploring in the aims of creating dwelling units that will be ultimately priced lower than traditional developers could do. At the time of the meeting, RUPCO had not yet purchased the property from the town, although they have been recently awarded $850,000 from the Dutchess County Housing Trust Fund, HDF, for this project specifically. Planning and Zoning and Building Department reports. So building permits issued in the month of October, 18. Certificates of occupancy, 1. Temporary certificates of occupancy, 1. Certificates of compliance, 7. Municipal searches, 3. There are 0 orders to remedy, stop work orders, do not occupy notices, and court appearances. And there were 0 complaints, which is great. There were no fire inspections because they were canceled by the property owners. October 30th meeting, the meeting date was changed due to a quorum issue. There was a site plan for Hughes Holdings Duchess LLC on Firehouse Lane that was tabled to November 13th. Site plan for O'Farrell, 31 East Market Street, tabled to November 13th. Site plan for Red Hook Commons LLC, 87 East Market Street, was tabled to November 13th.
If I can just clarify, that's not Red Hook Commons, the senior housing, it's an LLC and it's out 199.
Minor,
That was confusing to me.
To me, yeah.
minor subdivision for 15 Maysland Road, Carr, tabled to November 13th. And there was a public hearing scheduled. Okay, and then the Zoning Board of Appeals, the October 23rd, 2025 meeting, the area variance for 2 Farleigh Street, which was a front porch, was denied. The applicant was granted an alternate option for a front porch and accepted. The building permit was issued. And they've been working on it, it looks very nice. Village of Red Hook Building Department monthly trustees report month of October 2025. The total fees collected is $4,075.55. And that is it for me.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
The amended text for the Community Preservation Fund, does that mean that CPF money could be used not only to purchase the boat club land, but also for associated costs?
So I'm not a lawyer,
Okay.
but I believe it would allow that. I believe it would expand the uses in the idea of, but I can't. I'm
But
not-
originally it's set up just to buy property, not for any other costs of said property.
And I don't think it usually was used to buy property, it's usually used to buy easements on properties.
Easements to protect
Yeah,
it
and it would
for
work-
open space.
Yeah, and it would work with land trusts that would help do that. And this seems to me like a substantive change.
Can I, well, I guess the public hearing is before our next workshop meeting, so.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on Wednesday. Okay, with that, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Trustee Ugu.
Hello. I have reports today, DPW report. Right in front of you have the resource recovery data report, which is basically materials management, for which I can report in the month of October. We had revenue of $3,318, that being revenue from tag sales. Our costs are $2,140.55, being composed of garbage, disposal at Accra, fuel surcharge, contaminated recycling amount of $1.41, every cent counts. We rent a Royal Dumpster from Welsh at $218.51. Anyway, the total cost is $2,140.55. I'm awake. I'm here. Anyone who's interested in tonnage and further, all of this is available online. If you get excited about things like tonnage, please speak to me because I do too. I would like to know you. Okay, so for trash and recycling, all is as online. Trash and recycling must be out before 5 a.m. on Monday mornings. Cardboard bundles should be bound together with string or tape. Paper recycling in a tub or bin. The recycling schedule is very helpfully online in resource guides designed by the Deputy Mayor. I think they're awesome. I meant to bring one, but it is online and available in the clerk's office should you not have a copy. They also come in the seasonal letter that comes with your water bill, so you can find one there as well. Bulk item tags are available for purchase in the clerk's office. Also, if you have bulk items you wish to dispose of. Food waste drop-off. Residents are welcome to join the village's food waste collection program, which is made possible in part by a composting grant from Dutchess County. Please sign up in person at Village Hall, by phone, or online. And I will mention that the food waste drop-off is really part of the village's, if you will allow the village to provide you services, it really can cut down on your costs of living. I myself use our municipal waste trash and recycling pickup, and with the food waste drop-off, you can reduce your costs as far as disposal goes, as well as saving the environment, because you're diverting all of that from landfill into the recycling and into the food collection, which becomes compost. So I encourage everyone who wishes to sign up for that. You can also sign up for a complimentary countertop bin. All of this and more information are available online. So we have also, just a reminder that brush pickup has now concluded for the year until the spring. We do still have leaf pickup, as I understand, until the first major snow, or all the leaves are gone, which that never happens. So, so yes, before the first snow, there's still leaf pickup, at which point the truck, you know, like Cinderella, becomes a snow truck. Okay, so to that effect, no all-night street parking is permitted in the village from November 1st to March 31st. Vehicles parked on the streets between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. may be ticketed and towed at the owner's expense. Property owners are pleased to remove athletic equipment, garbage receptacles, and any other temporary obstacles from the sides of streets to prevent damage during snow removal operations. Also, owners or occupants of buildings and lots in the village with adjoining sidewalk are required to remove snow and ice within 24 hours at the end of a snowstorm. The village highway department may remove uncleared snow and ice at the cost of $2 per linear foot due to the which is owed by the property owner. Charges will be assessed and collected with the next tax levy. For our scrap metal program, we have the revenue received since the last report was $492. Total revenue for this fiscal year, from June 2025 to May 2026, is $2,914.20. Since this program's inception in 2007, donations have yielded a total of $58,431.54, which is a number that always amazes. Proceeds from the program go towards the purchase of tools and equipment for the Public Works Department. Residents and businesses interested in donating metal may contact the village clerk's office to schedule a pickup. Streetlight complaints, these are all online. If you notice, this is just giving you information. If you see a street light out or you notice a pothole, the village can help you with forwarding those complaints and getting them taken care of by Central Hudson. What else do we have? Oh, okay, this is a cute thing. I call it giving Jake his flowers. Jake is our DPW foreman. Although he has told me that he does not like to be spotlighted. This is me, I really appreciate what he does. So thank you, Jake, for receiving the Village Green Tree order at Highway Garage. When they came, we ordered trees for planting day, and those arrived, and Jake received them, and for making time to confirm with the committee that the 7488 North Broadway planting location was suitable for digging. I do thank Jake tongue-in-cheek, but really, I wanted to say that this is really, every time I thank Jake, it's really a thank you to the mayor, and I want to highlight a particular event in the month of October. We as a board were approached by a collection of residents on Benner Road who were interested in having some village support for Halloween, Village Halloween Night, which is distinct from the Village Halloween Parade that is sponsored by the Red Hook Chamber of Commerce. Village Halloween Night is just sort of an organic thing. No one knows. I've asked so many people, no one knows where it began. It's typically in the north, what do we call it? No, in the section of the village, including Fraley Church, Prince Phillips, and it's just a really great night. Kids just come out, and we were approached by residents on Benner about getting additional security, and I was able to bring this to the mayor, and the mayor was able to connect DPW and the police, and we were able to provide street lights and additional lighting. I was able to contact the Red Hook Public Library Director, Alex Geller, and the town supervisor, Teresa Burke, and it's really, for me, I found it gratifying as an example of how residents can come to us and we can actually make things happen. And those residents were very appreciative, and so I just want to give the mayor her flowers.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Okay, and then I have a Village Green report very quickly. Planting day took place as scheduled on Saturday, November 8th at 9 a.m. Volunteers gathered in front of Village Hall for quick introductions, team assignments, and a group photo. As one new tree was to be installed nearby, a live planting demonstration was held at the site. The teams then dispersed for planting, returning afterwards for a luncheon in the courtroom at Village Hall. I will say we were very, very excited to have the Deputy Mayor join us, and it was a beautiful day with amazing weather. We couldn't have arranged it better. The committee has elected Tara Barrett as chair effective immediately. They have also completed an audit of all committee assets, including the Village Green storage shed, physical inventory like tools, vests, tree labels, and online documents. As requested, I set up a village street tree request form. And this is more efficient for committee members than door knocking and offers another option for residents to engage with the village. That is now online, and we will be linking that directly from the village page. But it is actually online right now, and so that's very exciting for the spring. A record of fall 2025 committee activities largely captured in the documents, actions of the VGC. All current terms end on the 31st of December of this year, and all committee members are interested in reappointment. It has been a pleasure working with this hard-working team, and I look forward to continuing to serve both them and the village. I also have included a list of the 10 trees and species, locations and species that were planted on Saturday, November 8th. Okay, so then I have a food waste, what I'm calling our Village Food Waste Collection Program. In October, Deputy Mayor Kirval continued to collaborate with me on this program rollout. I suggest going forward that we refer to our program as the Village Food Waste Collection Program. Food waste is what we collect on our end, which is then turned into compost by the hauler. I continue to update references from compost to food waste in our in-house materials. The description of the grant from Dutchess County remains the Red Hook Village Composting Program. At the start of the month, I created a spreadsheet, the Food Waste Program subscribers, capturing data from all participants so far. I redesigned the online form, the registration form, and I also supplied the clerk with written copy to be used as confirmation of registration, whether those come in online, in person, or over the phone. Deputy Mayor Kirval also assisted with the design and branding elements for the program, including the logo and QR code here, which she also included in her report. As you recall, we signed the contract with Dutchess County at our last workshop. Mayor Smythe has now submitted our first reimbursement request to the county. Grant expenses as of the request total $2,268.09. Our hauler, Laughing Fox Farm, has provided collection data since the program's inception. Here are pickup dates and food waste volume diverted from landfills so far. And I did sum up those amounts, and I believe that came to all of the, so far, all of the collected volume so far is $950.55, not dollars, 950 pounds, 950.55 pounds. Next up, stickers for the countertop bins supplied to residents are on order. The bins will be ready for distribution once those are unboxed. Have stickers affixed by the Food Waste Program volunteer team, which is currently lining up. Thank you very much.
Great. All right, thank you very much. Next, Trustee Smith.
Mine are short and sweet because I'm last and everyone's ready to be done. Water Department. The report on the village's water use and testing indicates that customers used a total of almost 7 million gallons of water for an average daily use of 223,619 gallons. Over the course of the month, the village used 150 gallons of liquid chlorine for a daily average of 4.84 gallons. The free chlorine residuals at the entry point range from 1.43 to 2.13 milligrams per liter for a daily average of 1.86 milligrams per liter. The daily average is pretty par for the previous months. All 3 tested locations were negative for E. coli and coliform, and the chlorine residuals in those 3 locations range from 1.1 to 1.35. So you get a sense by comparing the two, what it was going in, and then how it disperses over the system. There were 2 event applications in the previous month that required follow-up communication and meetings. We discussed and approved one tonight. We will address the second one at the workshop. For grants, the Greenway Compact Grant for improvements to the pedestrian experience in the central business area was submitted October 30th. In combination with the work to get the school speed zone established, I'm currently working on funding sources for the lighted signs that are legally required as part of an established school speed zone. That's it. Oh, I forgot, I have to also do the bills. Did you? Yep, utility billing report for the water and the sewer. Utility bills issued, $222,000, $222,404.85. There were no penalties or finance charges. We received $181,227.58, which means there is an outstanding $52,007.52 owed. There was 1 bill adjustment. There was a leaking yard hydrant. It was repaired, so $668.20 was credited to that account. Thank you, Jen.
All right, so I actually do have a budget adjustment, which you should have, I did put in your bin this afternoon. It is in the form of a resolution. Under the general fund, couple of items of note. The first one is Upstate Pines is a cannabis retail establishment that is actually half in the town and half in the village. It's one of those funny spots where the village line actually cuts right through the edge of the building, which is where Upstate Pines is. And so the town receives the sales tax money, and they have now sent us our half.
And do they get half of our half?
They will get half of our half, yes.
So we have to give them 6,000 back?
No. So the town, so the way it works is 3% of the sale of retail sales goes to the town. When it's in the village gets half. When it's all in the town, it all stays with the town. So this is a situation where we get half because part of this is in the village. And the balance, if you will, yes, arguably we're half the building, but it's all, the one that will be opening up soon is all in the village and the town gets half, so
Yeah.
it seems only fair that we get our full half, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, that's intriguing, yeah.
So the 12,000 is not my expected total number, but I wanted to be conservative. We just received, I think we just received 11,000, so we'll be getting a bunch more. Did you have a question?
Is this the business that was just closed?
No.
No,
No,
that was
absolutely
they were
not. That's-
illegally
that's
selling.
alright.
They did not have a license. Upstate Pines is across from Town Hall. That is a legally licensed cannabis retail store.
Okay, so that's what.
That's where the revenue's coming from, yes. The other item of note is chips. We have an allocation, which is both from last year, we did not use our allocation. It's a total of about 190,000, and we generally use it for paving. Our paving actual came in at less than what was initially quoted. So we have some funding available. That's about 130,000. The DPW is in significant need of a tractor, and I've gotten approval from DOT to pay for the tractor out of CHIPS funding. And so
Oh,
that's
nice.
included in this budget adjustment. And you'll see that there's a corresponding revenue and expense for CHIPS, so that washes itself out. And also, oh, look at that, I didn't put any dollars in. So, so under the revenue side of refuse and garbage sale services to other governments, we are receiving monies. I just didn't put a number in, look at that. So next adjustment will include a positive. I have the expenses down below. Yeah, that was, I just missed it. But you'll see that there's a line item now for Tivoli garbage per serve, which is basically payroll, because we are tracking the hours that they are using, and the tipping fees are higher because we're collecting more garbage. And that's really and so on the water side, it's listed as other compensation for loss as a revenue. It's really a tapping fee. I'm not quite, I think we have that line item, so we may need to discuss whether but it's still a revenue. And so the biggest change is related to the water service that we approved on Blue Echo, and that was a significant cost, and thus revenue to us. And then just a couple of other items for expenses. And I listed below the line, if you will, we paid short-term interest for the WIA grant, which is a grant that well, I shouldn't say it that way. It's the project's cost initially was estimated to cost 1.8 million, and a WIA grant is for 60% of that, which is $1,080,000. The remaining monies we finance through EFC. So this is short-term interest. Because we're still in a short-term interest loan scenario, we expect to convert that to long-term sometime in 2026. That timing is determined by EFC. But I put it below the line because it's related to a capital project. It's not related to general operations. And then for the sewer fund, there's a whole variety of things going back and forth, most of which I countered with, we will not have the funding to support a reserve this year, so I took that out of the budget. And software, we don't have, the only specific software we have for sewer is QuickBooks. We now have a QuickBooks Online specific for sewer, and so we don't need that full amount for software. So that's our current situation for the sewer fund. We'll have many more discussions on financing for the sewer fund coming up. So that's what I got for budget adjustment. I would like a motion to approve this as resolution number 44.
Could I ask just one question,
Of
going back
course.
to general, about the home and community service?
Yes, so that is primarily what's in there is the compost, the compost hauling. What's also in there is the purchasing of the bins, for which we will get reimbursed. I didn't reflect that. Actually, I don't think the revenue from the grant is reflected in the budget yet, so that'll be in a further adjustment.
Okay, great.
Once you get it.
Yeah, once I get it,
Once accepted,
once it's
reimbursement.
acknowledged as being accepted, then if the timing works, I'll throw that into an adjustment.
Thank you.
Sure. And just one sec, just to remind, the hauling portion is not covered by the grant, but the purchase of the bins is covered and all the other expenses.
So
Yeah.
that's how many bins
Well,
anticipated.
There are two different bins. So the big bins that are in the collection area, and we purchased 4 because there are 2 in there, and then they take 2 out and put 2 fresh ones in. So we purchased 4. And then there are the countertops.
So that's what I was
The countertops, I believe it was 85,
thinking.
80, because that was an assumption of how many people would engage with the program, so we bought them all in one fell swoop. because that's all covered by the grant.
Is that gonna be publicly noticed somewhere?
Yeah, I think the sort of broader communication is something we
Oh,
can
yes,
continue
yes,
to talk about.
yeah, we have another, with the
If you
seasonal.
would like to sign up, you can let Jen know, and she'll sign you up, she'll put you on the list.
The bins aren't available yet, Tony, but you
No,
can
no, I know, I
participate
realize.
without a bin.
I know, I was just curious how many.
Yeah, no, I think that the sort of the calculation of how many people, and we currently have how many on the list? 30?
Oh, boy. No, it's more than 30. It's, pull up this spreadsheet.
Ballpark, so if it's more than 30, so somewhere between 30 and 50.
Yeah, somewhere between 30 and 50, yeah.
Take coffee grinds, I'll fill it up pretty quick.
They do, actually coffee grinds are great.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
a- that's
reduce the smell.
a good ad. Any other questions? I'll take a motion to approve resolution 44 of budget adjustment.
So moved.
I'll take Tony and Amy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, super. I need a motion to pay bills after audit.
So moved?
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. The other executive session item is not pressing, so I'm gonna put that off. I'm gonna table that for tonight. And so with that, I'm gonna,
Motion table.
do I need to table something listed
On
on
the
the
agenda.
Okay, so I'm making a motion to table the discussion of proposed litigation by the village executive session.
A second.
Thank you for the second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. I will now take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Super.